Global media has often talked about a problem of air pollution in Delhi during the Deepawali festival season. Many have even shamed India. Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg even used a zero-carbon yacht to reach the USA. But not many realize that her yacht was not zero-carbon in construction. So in times such as these, how can you make sure that you are not misled? Probably, it is important for you to have a broader perspective. Air pollution causes several million deaths per year globally. According to Greenpeace, 95% of people across the world breathe unsafe air, making it a global public health crisis. Nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, ground-level ozone, particulate matter, carbon monoxide, and lead are considered to be the most common air pollutants. The next time you read the sensational and alarming news headlines of the ranking of the world's most polluted cities, you may want to pay attention to the pollutants that are being considered in those rankings. While there are plenty of reports which reveal the rankings of the world's most polluted cities in terms of particulate matter, in which Indian and Chinese cities usually rank high, for some strange reasons, it is not easy to find the reports or studies which rank the world's most polluted cities in terms of nitrogen dioxide, which is also a dangerous pollutant. Why? Well, during the last few decades, many European cities have been suffering from extremely dangerous levels of nitrogen dioxide. Additionally, it does appear that the Western researchers and journalists who love to calculate their country's GDP on a per capita basis are very hesitant in calculating their country's PM2.5 or nitrogen dioxide emissions on a per capita basis. Why? Is the individual responsibility not important when it comes to environmental protection? And why do the Western journalists not talk about consumption-based emissions more often? Why do they not talk more frequently about historical emissions? Why do they not calculate historical or cumulative emissions on a per capita basis? Why do they not discuss individual ecological footprint more frequently? Where will the Western nations rank in these calculations? Well, when it comes to historical and individual environmental responsibility for our planet, aren't these indicators more accurate and fairer? While countries like India appear more concerned about the particulate matter-related pollution, the Western countries are grappling with pollution from gases like nitrogen dioxide and ozone. Nitrogen dioxide causes lung damage and respiratory symptoms on acute exposure. In long-term exposure, it increases the risk of chronic diseases. Before I analyze the situation in India, allow me to share the global perspective. The 2013 EEA report revealed that more than 90% of people in European cities were breathing dangerous air. Are you aware of the 2014 research by London's King's College, which revealed that the famous Oxford Street of London was the most polluted street in the world, with 463 micrograms of nitrogen dioxide per cubic meter of air? The most horrifying thing about nitrogen dioxide is that it is not so visible like Delhi's smog. So you may have a blue sky, but you are breathing toxic air. In 2017, the analysis commissioned by Labour revealed that nearly 40 million people in the UK are living in illegal limits of nitrogen dioxide pollution. And 63% of the most sensitive wildlife habitats in the UK are affected by excessive nitrogen deposits. It is not only the UK that is suffering from the pollution from nitrogen dioxide. The invisible killer, nitrogen dioxide, is all over Europe and many cities of the US. In addition, ozone pollution is a major concern in many European countries. And here is another perspective. It is the image that was released by NASA in which heavy concentrations of nitrogen dioxide can be seen in Europe. A press release from European Court of Auditors dated September 11, 2018 stated, "The European Union's action to protect human health from air pollution has not delivered its expected impact. Every year, air pollution causes about 400,000 premature deaths in the European Union and hundreds of billions of euros in health-related external costs. The European Union's air quality standards, which were established 20 years ago, are still not uniformly adopted by all member states. Air which can be classified as sufficient in Krakow or Sofia is actually considered very poor by EEA standards. What is considered fair in Ostrava and mediocre in Milan is classified as poor by EA standards, and what makes matters worse is that even EA standards fall short of those recommended by the WHO. Air pollution-related warnings have been issued to the international tourists who travel to New Delhi. But have you ever heard of global warnings that are issued to the tourists who visit London's Oxford Street or other nitrogen dioxide-filled cities of the UK? Yes, tourists should be warned when they are visiting Delhi on those days when air pollution is peaking, but why such type of warnings are not issued to those innocent international tourists who are visiting London and other European cities which have dangerously high levels of nitrogen dioxide? Especially when more numbers of tourists' lives and health are at stake in cities like London, as it gets a lot more international tourists than Delhi. Is it just because a naked eye can't see the nitrogen dioxide of London just the way it can see smoke of Delhi? Or is it because everybody can shame Delhi, but nobody can shame London? And the same goes for other nitrogen dioxide-filled cities of France, Germany or Italy. Nitrogen dioxide causes thousands of premature deaths in Europe. Death numbers are even worse when pollutants like particulates and ozone are also taken into account, as before Brexit, in 2014, in just 28 countries of the European Union, more than 500,000 premature deaths were linked with air pollution, and Germany had the highest number. Emissions in the atmosphere easily last for centuries, and it is totally fair to hold the countries responsible for climate change by calculating their historical or cumulative emissions. It is absolutely shocking to learn that almost 80% of our planet's historical emissions have come just from Europe and the USA. It is quite unfortunate that even after causing the biggest damage to our planet by their massive historical emissions, many of these Western countries continue to emit a lot more than countries like India. A recent report revealed that Canada's vehicles have the highest average carbon dioxide emissions and fuel consumption per kilometer driven. In addition, vehicles in Canada are also the largest and the second heaviest in the world. The second rank is held by the USA. Not only that, many Western countries have cleverly outsourced their emissions by moving their pollution-causing factories to poorer countries, and that is why it is very important to understand consumption-based emissions. Calculation of emissions which is based on consumption instead of production is a great way to hold those countries responsible which consume goods that cause emissions elsewhere. Now let's focus on India for a while. In the northern states of India, the smog is a mixture of stubble burning, construction dust, road dust and vehicular pollution, but the biggest contributor out of these is stubble burning by the farmers in Punjab and Haryana. The traditional practice of cutting rice manually slowly discontinued as combine harvesters got introduced in the 1980s. Combine harvesters cut the crop 8 inches above the ground. Farmers usually get around 15 days for the sowing of wheat. Laborers are not easily available, and that is why they choose to dispose of the straw by burning it. There are solutions to this. Machinery like the happy seeder, chopper cum shredder and rotavator can be provided to farmers at subsidized prices. The number of biomass plants can also be increased. In addition, farmers can be encouraged to grow basmati rice. Not only is basmati variety sold for a higher price, but also it requires manual harvesting. Use of paddy straw in producing paper, cardboard, packing materials can be encouraged, and it can also be used as biomass pellet fuel. Furthermore, farmers can also learn the technique of incorporating the straw back into the soil, as it can improve the fertility of the soil and money can be saved on fertilizers. Apart from the crop residue burning, inefficient traffic management and badly planned Indian roads lead to traffic jams and vehicular pollution in India. The country's poorly managed construction sites are also a source of particulate matter. Mechanized road cleaning by vacuuming is almost non-existent. However, one can easily spot old-style manual sweeping everywhere, which disperses a lot of dust in the air. India's unique geography, its weather conditions and wind patterns, its unpaved roads that disperse dust, unofficial burning of trash by random individuals are some of the other contributory factors in this smog. The dust control measures by the NGT are not properly implemented and followed either by real estate developers or private individuals. In a 2018 report by Greenpeace, high levels of NO2 air pollution were noticed in 3 Indian cities. On the other hand, the good news is that India has been constantly increasing its percentage of energy that is produced by renewable sources. According to a report from Niti Aayog, India will be able to reduce its projected carbon emissions by 37% by 2030 if it can adopt the use of electric vehicles and more public transportation. India looks after more than 18% of the world's population with just 2.4% of land area and only 4% of renewable water resources. And that is why India has to look at its own situation of ecological reserves so that it does not face a situation of an ecological deficit. Our planet is our common asset, and we all should carry equal responsibility. If you are from the West, and if you care about the environment, start calculating and reducing your ecological footprint. Because if everyone in the developing and poor countries adopt the lifestyle of an average American or an average European, we will need a few Earths. Being born in America or Europe does not give one an inherent right to consume more and emit more than an average Indian. So, isn't it all about the greed-driven consumerism in the end? Isn't it all about the fact that countries around the world have been adopting the Western growth model, which is based on consumerism? It does look like the root cause of our environmental problems. But is it possible to have human prosperity while living a sustainable life and by shunning consumerism? Perhaps the answer to that is hidden somewhere in ancient India, something that I have explored in an episode that you may want to watch. Hi, my name is Karolina Goswami. I am doing my best to find accurate and authentic answers regarding many aspects of India which are not fully known or understood. It takes a lot of time, money and effort to do this work. Please come forward and support my mission financially. See you again.